Hello. How's it going? Weed. Well, honestly, thank you for the biddies. Someone needs to punish me. El Fang, thank you for 138 months. I'm glad you.
I know you guys don't see any of that. I see all of that.
Fairtrix, thank you for 106 months.
Jesus said,
I've been here the whole time. Foxborn, thank you for the biddies. Yeah, I don't know why I did that video. Well, I guess I do. I just got... I got the phrase, it's time for the opposite of AMVs in my head, and I posted that. And then I posted that and I was like, I don't even know what that means. And then I decided that it meant putting anime music on shit as opposed to putting other music on anime. So then I don't know, I guess I had Evangelion on the brain and also Bun, and I combined the two, and here we are. People seem to like it. And that's good. That's the best you can hope for. Bungellion. Bun's in her frog and all's right with the world. But yeah, sorry. Sorry again. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? I'm right here. I am right here. Yeah, I have a project that once again is more than meets the eye or met the eye. It's more than met the eye that wrote the scope. And I'm trying to get things a little bit more in line before I throw in the towel today. More than meets the eye. Why, shape director? Why? Aloba, you're a star. Hello. Did you know you're a star? Yeah. Yeah. You're so cute and small. You're so small and cute. You're smaller than the cats, which is wild. It's crazy that you can have a total dog that's smaller than cats. Well, still only one guest, but things seem to have cooled. Tensions have cooled. The cats have a truce going on, and the littles have still not quite gotten over the excitement of an additional cat. So they still are paying a lot of attention to the new cat as she explores and such. I would say Chew is being the most funny about it to me, because it feels like the way that he is. So first of all, I would describe it in the most simplest term as attentive. And I am over cats, and I'm not entirely pleased with the situation, because this is more cats, not less cats. But whatever. But yeah, so I would, in one word, I would describe Chew's behavior about the new cat as attentive. But that doesn't really convey it, and honestly, I think it's hard to convey. I've never seen a little dog more at attention, maintaining a small distance with maximum interest and barely contained excitement. He's not doing anything to the cat. He's not threatening or hurting the cat. He's not mad at the cat. He just likes the cat. He loves that the cat exists. And he's so just about to burst about it. I just can't really quite explain what the hell it is with him. He looks like he's so fascinated at every movement and choice that the cat makes. He's just following every moment of it. And it's so strange because he treats Pico like he's a piece of furniture. Like he'll walk along, and if Pico's in the way, he'll just kind of like bump into him, or like he'll just move around him as like an obstacle, but he's zero interest in Pico. Oh, do we have that weird room bug? That's very strange. I don't know what would cause that. I think we are getting some strange side effects where because I'm running the games from a container that is just always on, that they are always on. And I think they have some long-term, or at least the camera game here has some long-term running issues that it develops over time that I can't explain. I don't know. I know that Chew loves cats. He wants to be friends with cats, which makes it all the stranger that he just doesn't give a fuck about Pico. I don't know why that is. I guess maybe like Pico has established uh all of the boundaries, and that all happened a long time ago, and they just have achieved balance, and therefore nothing interesting occurs. But like we fostered a few years ago a litter of kittens. We had like I think four kittens, and Nakomi would bring them around in like a hoodie pocket or a robe, like a pouch. And Chew was about that shit. He was so into the kittens. He was so excited about them. He wanted to sniff all over them. He wanted them to be very familiar with his big face, his big giant face compared to theirs. So I think that he's just a big softy for kitties and cats. I think that's what's up. Also, I have noticed that there's uh Bun has really strange behaviors that are pretty funny. She's funny kind of like a lot of the time. For instance, this really funny one that she does that I don't know why it happens this way, but it fucking makes me laugh. Is so like when I'm getting my shit together because I'm gonna go out, I have to go run an errand or whatever it involves. I'm gonna put on my hoodie. I'm gonna gather my pocket items. My wallet, my keys, and somewhere along that line of gathering the stuff up is gonna trigger the littles. They're gonna realize that I'm going out and they're gonna yell. What's interesting about it is that Chew logically yells at me. Bun yells at Chew like it's his fault. I don't know why. He sometimes he won't even have got into it, but she knows that some shit is up, and she will go up to him and get directly next to his face and yell at him. Full volume, directly into his face. So I don't know if she even really understands what's going on. The same thing happens if there's like a noise outside that would cause Chew to go to the window and start barking. Bun doesn't go to the window and bark at the noise. She barks at Chew. Whatever happens, she yells at Chew. When there's fireworks, Chew barks at the sky. Bun barks at Chew. But interestingly, I caught her. So there was some bark trigger that occurred, and she ran into the where the cat visitor was hanging out and barked at the cat. Oh, I think I have Scream at ATV turned down a little bit. Yeah. Sorry. It's just that when I have it at normal volume, people say it's hard to hear me talk, and I don't want to. I mean, I don't know. I don't want it to be hard for people to hear me. It is hard to find that balance. Right? Computers, gosh. Computers. I know. I want to be a little retro freak again. I want to have time for anything again. Right now, inspired by the BMU Pros, I want to be a little Dreamcast freak more than anything. I want to mod my Dreamcast. I want to replace the power supply. I want to replace the battery so that it doesn't ask me for the time and date every fucking time I turn it on. Yes. There was a post on Reddit I saw the other day where someone was like, we should abandon all modern electronics and go back to like CD players and flip phones and shit so they can't get us. And people were like, just like you don't use the apps. That's all you need to do is just don't use those apps. But I was on board immediately. I was like, yes, let's go back. Back is better. Like I know that like usually it's bad. Usually it's bad. That's how you end up with great again. Uh, but I would say there is maybe we have gone like just a few steps too far. Maybe we should go back of just a few steps. You know, let's go back to physical media and chunky electronics and stuff. I think it'd be all right. Oh yeah, no, I mean, shit's fucked, Jake. That shit is just it's honestly it's difficult to escape the ecosystem stuff. You know, these software subscriptions and so forth to find open source alternatives that are worthwhile. A lot of the problem there is, you know, open source doesn't necessarily mean free. Even free and open source, because if people don't donate to support the projects, then those people, the people who have developed those things, can't continue to spend the time developing those things because we exist in a system that requires money for you to live. You run out of money, you die. F. Oh, good night, M. I'm sorry for whatever I did. Yeah. I wanted it to be this year, Doug, but like every fucking time I try, I just keep running into eventually some brick wall that fucks me. Now, granted, I am doing it on ultra hard mode, so maybe if the difficulty wasn't set so high, I would be there already, but the fact that I just have this fucking HDMI chain that means I cannot get better than 30 hertz out of my fucking screen. If I was just connected directly to my monitor, I would have no problem. But I can't do that with my setup. At least with the way I want my setup to be. It's really fucking irritating because in pretty much all other ways, I've been completely ready for the Linux desktop for a long time. The real final puzzle piece for me was essentially what's transpired over the past few years with Proton. You know, it was just that I couldn't play any of the fucking games I wanted to play. But now that's essentially been resolved, apart from, you know, games that need anti-cheat. For old games, for old games, I don't think you do. I think that's more solved than other things, honestly. Like, for really old shit, there's Scrum VM and DOSBox. I'm struggling to think of what it is exactly that you, like, what era of stuff would you be thinking of? Yeah, they're very portable. I really don't think you would need a dual boot for that. And then once you get into like Windows 95 and up territory, you're taken care of by Wine and Proton pretty much. Oh yeah, Jake. Good luck. That's the hard part. It's hard to choose to like abandon what you're most used to and learn something new. Like that shit is a struggle. Oh. But yeah, I just want to I don't know. I don't know if it's like I'm old and it's like sad. I just want to like immerse myself in like PS1 graphics and old games in general. I just want to live in old games. Also, there's some really sick shit that the VMU Pro does that I really want to try. It has an OBS feature, and apparently you can get a plugin, and you can broadcast over Wi-Fi a stream of what is being displayed on the VMU, which is sick as fuck. I could capture both the Dreamcast view, but then also on the side I can put the VMU screen, which is pretty fucking tight. It does rule. The People's PS1 would be an amazing hardware project. I don't know what that means, but I liked reading it. Do you mean like a completely open source PlayStation 1? People have done wild shit. There's that one guy, I forget what his name is right now. And I'm not going to try to guess it. Well, is his name Ben Eater? I'm not sure. But that dude was making his own GPU from scratch. which started on breadboards. So I don't know. Well, this would be very different, Doug. At least in my mind, what Shapedrifter said made me think is like literally from nothing making an open source hardware device that is essentially equivalent in capability to a PlayStation 1, but not replicating a PlayStation 1. You know what I'm saying? A distinct device. I don't know that that's a thing anybody has done. And I don't know if that's a thing that a person or even a handful of people could do by themselves or not. I don't know. Would that be feasibly doable? I don't know. I feel like I've seen people on the internet do insane things that almost make you question. But shit was harder when they were making like the Super Nintendo and the N64 and the PlayStation and so on. Like that was cutting edge stuff when they were doing it at that time. And it was more difficult for various reasons. They didn't have like software was not as mature. I assume lots of things were not as mature. So it took research and like tens or hundreds of people to develop those things. There was a guy who made his own PS1 MOBO, the NS1 he called it. Yeah, but again, was that just based off of the PlayStation 1? Because arguably that's a pretty hittable target. Because people have reverse engineered like the whole thing with FPGAs, for example, is if you know the all of the inputs and the outputs of a chip, you can, or really if you hopefully if you know the schematic, you can basically recreate an entire chip one to one on an FPGA. So that's why FPGAs are extremely beneficial for emulation, right? Because it can be potentially 100% accurate. And you see that like with for example, I think the most one of the more common examples is with FPGA emulation. Uh Stuff that normally doesn't work in regular emulators does work on FPGAs like flickering effects tend not to work well in emulation, but they do work on FPGA emulators. I want to dig through all the garbage that I collected. I collected so much more stuff than I've ever made use of. I have a billion demo discs that have who knows what on them. I also have a fuck ton of like weird old PC software, questionable old PC games, tons of garbage that I would love to just like kind of dig through or dive into like Scrooge McDuck. Well, I got to figure out how to make my to keep my job within containment. That's a lot of my issue of late, is that I am losing my weekends and my evenings to my job. It is starting to consume my entire life. And therefore, that's why it's so difficult for me to do any other damn thing. Yeah. We used to have pretty good work-life balance, but it's gone to shit. But it might be coming back. There's been some positive changes with my work, so believe me, I am trying to rein it in. I feel like fucking shit every time I do one of these phoned in fucking check-in streams. For real, for real, for real. Yeah. With that, folks, I think I will call it here. But I appreciate you. I'm sorry once again. Tomorrow we will return to Eclipsium. And it will rock because Eclipsium blew my mind last Saturday. I am very excited to see more of it. I was looking forward to it today, but then I fucked up. So, until next stream, everybody, have a beautiful night. I'll see you then.